Hello and welcome to the Good Hope Hiker channel. So this video isn't about a hike or wilderness tips, it's about growing your own food. And looking at what's happening around the world, then I guess you can see this as a long-term survival tip. About 2 years ago we moved onto a new property. And at the front of the property was a piece of open garden. We never used this, so it always became overgrown, which the dogs loved to explore. Even though it looked pretty good when it was mowed, we always felt it was a waste of space, and something better could be done with it. My wife, being an avid gardener, eventually decided enough was enough and we should build a vegetable garden. Well, with me being the man of the house, my immediate response to this was, yes dear. So the planning began. We would need 124 concrete cinder blocks to construct 4 raised beds. 2 beds would be 3 meters long and 1 meter wide and be 2 cinder blocks high. And 2 more beds would be 2 meters long, 1 meter wide and also be 2 cinder blocks high. For the front wall we would need 44 cinder blocks, which would also be 2 cinder blocks high. Running between the beds would be stepping stones, of which we needed 51. To fill the beds we would need 20 bags of potting soil and 20 bags of organic compost. Getting too much of either is not an issue, as you will be using them in the future. The first layout we had was for 5 beds, but eventually we decided to just do 4 larger ones with more beds running along the front wall. So step 1, after marking out the beds, we had to lift the grass and get the area down to bare soil. Step 2 was to lay down weed protector sheeting on top of the bare soil before building the beds. On each corner we drove in steel rebar for extra support, as we didn't use cement between the bricks, just in case we wanted to move the beds around later. Once the beds were constructed, we laid down the stepping stones. The veg garden was starting to take shape. Before filling the beds, we filled the cinder block holes with potting soil and fertilizer. You can then plant flowers in these holes to attract bees for pollination. The soil in the wall also provides more stability to the structure. Each bed had to have the walls layered with weed protector sheeting. We used soil free of weeds and grass to weigh the sheet down along the inside of the bed. The next step was to put down a layer of compost, 3 to 4 bags. Then a layer of potting soil, also 3 to 4 bags. And finally we sprinkled some bone meal over the bed before turning it all in together with a fork. Over the past 17 months, our veg garden has provided us with an abundance of wonderful tasting vegetables. We have even started to expand on the other side, and the entire area is now dedicated to the growing of vegetables. Space is turning out to be an issue though, and we may have to build more beds. No matter how small the space you have available to you, you can start growing for yourself. The experience of planting and harvesting for your own table is truly rewarding. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video has inspired you to start growing.